It's your boy, Ranked Mountain Biking here, and today I practice my drifting skills.
Oh, come on. Keep it going. Ah!
And as it turns out, I suck at drifting, so I practice again.
Dang it.
That also didn't work out, so I decided to go hit a tree.
Oh, come on. I was doing so good.
But in other news, it's race day at Spider Mountain Bike Park, which means the lift line is super long and the trails are super washed out and more gnarly than usual. But that's not going to stop me from going down them at an uncontrollable pace. And the best part about this race was it had a lift, which means less pedaling and more downhill, which are the two greatest things that mountain biking has ever invented. But before I could start racing, I had to get warmed up first, which for me just basically means hitting the biggest jumps they got. And that's exactly what I did.
Perfect. All right. No brakes. No brakes. No brakes.
So after getting warmed up, I decided it would be best to kick off this race on Antidote, which is a super fun trail with a bunch of jumps at the start, followed by some tight berms and little jumps, and then back to some big jumps at the end. So let's shred it.
So pedally and bumpy. Ah! No, keep it together. Wait.
So I finished Antidote with a solid time of 2 minutes and 49 seconds. And I was pretty happy with that run, so I went over to Viper's Den next. But unfortunately, on my first run, I crashed.
Oh, come on. Keep it going. Ah! I came in at a little bit high.
So that slowed me down a bit. But my second run, I nailed it. So let's get it. Also, just a quick note here, if you come out of this wall ride going super fast, you definitely need to brake check a little bit so you don't overshoot the next jump. I did not know this, so I completely overshot the jump.
Almost went over there.
So I finished Viper's Den with a time of 2:02. And I thought that was pretty fast, so I decided to head over to the stage that required the most amount of pedaling, also known as the worst stage, which was called Itsy Bitsy. Now why this was even part of the race, I don't know. I would have preferred to have Stinger as part of the race, but oh well, it is what it is. And I'm just gonna fast forward through most of this since it's kind of boring. But let's get it. So I finished Itsy Bitsy with a time of 2:31, and that's kind of slow, but in order to get faster, I would have to do more pedaling. I didn't want to do that, so 2:31 was going to be my final time. But next I had to move on to Sticky Icky, which little did I know was going to be the bane of my existence this entire race. For some reason, on the first try, I did a Tokyo drift a little bit too hard and crashed.
Dang it.
And then on the second try, I slipped out again, but on a different obstacle.
Dang it.
Then on the third try, I hit a tree, which was fun.
Oh, come on. I was doing so good. Okay. Damn it.
Now, a reasonable person may bring up that I'm going a little bit too fast, and that's why I'm slipping out and crashing into trees. So I should probably slow down. That's what a casual mountain biker would say. This is ranked mountain biking. No, I'm not a casual mountain biker. I don't go slow. I go fast, I hit trees, and then I go back to going fast. And that's how winning is done. And eventually, I finally got a run where I didn't slip out or hit a tree. And just warning you in advance, the footage is incredibly shaky because this trail is super bumpy and I was going really fast, so. But let's get it.
Super section. Super section. Didn't watch out. Didn't watch out. Yeah. Yes. Yes, baby.
So I was finally able to get Sticky Icky without crashing or sliding out, and I got a time of 158.16. And that time was pretty good, but I thought I could go a little bit faster, so I tried 2 more times, and I got a time of 158.81, and then a time of 158.26. Now these times are incredibly close to each other, so it means one of 2 things. Either I'm at the very top of my current skill level and I just can't go any faster, or it means that I'm at the limits of what my bike can handle. So obviously it's the bike's fault. I was also running some tires that are pretty old, so right now they're closer to racing slicks than they are to actual mountain biking tires, which probably didn't help, but I did pretty good. And that was the last stage of the day, which put me in 18th place out of 27 in the men's 18 to 29 category. And I was a little bit disappointed that the race didn't include the new trail Sleep Tight or the double black trail called Stinger, which they only had the pros race. And I was thinking about going down Sleep Tight just for the clout. Perfect. But there were a bunch of people that had already crashed during the race, and there were some gnarly looking falls, so it probably was best for me to not do it. Ooh.
Fucking A, dude! Good fucking shit! Good fucking shit!
But overall, this race was super fun. I highly recommend it. And this was, in fact, the last race of the 2020 Texas Enduro Cup. And this last race put me in 10th out of 35 men in the overall Texas Enduro Cup for 2020. So for my first ever season of racing, that's pretty solid. And before I go, I'd like to give you guys a couple of pro tips from an amateur enduro racer. Tip number 1, if you didn't hit a tree, you obviously weren't going fast enough. And if you weren't going fast enough, blame it on the bike. And as always, you gotta go hard to get hard. Thanks for watching.
All right, you gotta go. Put down. That's okay. Do this.